Everybody, this is Dr. Schroeder with this week's video introduction to our final week of class, week number 8, and our course in evidence-based practice. And you did a lot of work in this course and have accomplished a lot. Each of you through in the assignments in this course has identified a problem, come up with a potential evidence-based practice to address that problem. And this is, for each of you, has been some form of a new practice. For most of you in the areas that you're most interested in nursing, you have worked through a literature review, helped to hone your research skills, and in your final assignment, in your evidence-based practice Part 2 project, you discussed your plan for how you would implement this in your organizations. I have completed the grading of all those assignments. I think the most consistent feedback that I gave to everybody was that many of you were a little bit confused on the two tables. One was for your plan for implementation of the project, and then the other was for the evaluation. And several of you had gotten those two things confused, or seemed a little bit confused about why two tables. It seemed like you weren't really quite sure what that meant. Just to reiterate, anytime that you implement a new plan, you have to have a plan for implementing it before you ever put it into a policy or procedure, before you ever develop a measurement tool, before you do anything, you have to come up with a plan and identify who your team is, who the team members are. If you're implementing a new evidence-based education program, well, somebody's got to develop that program and either put together the PowerPoint slides or the poster presentation or that pamphlet, whatever it is that you decide to do. And that all has to be planned. And the costs for that have to be planned as well. So that's why there was a section of that assignment which was identifying, for example, like what the cost for that project were going to be, the number of staff hours that it would take. It's never just as easy as, coming up with a new policy and saying, well, all the nurses are going to be responsible for it. It doesn't really work that way. You have to have one person who's in charge of the team, and that's when that first table was, who's in charge of actually coming up with this plan. And then the second table was your evaluation, where you come at the end of your evaluation period and then measure the data and say, okay, what happened? Did it work? Was it, did what happened, what we think was going to happen, was that the eventual outcome? And that's why those two tables were in there like that. Most of you got it, or many of you got it, but there was quite a few of you that were seemed a little bit confused about that. And so I'd love to feedback on those papers. Please let me know if you have any questions about that. And moving on to week 8, we really kind of wrap up the class with a discussion on your projects. Kind of a big thing right now in nursing and a big thing in healthcare is making sure that we are addressing population needs, not just specific patient needs, but are we meeting the needs of specific populations? And that's the focus of the discussion question this week. So this week you'll be talking about any specific diverse population that your specific quality improvement project, your evidence-based practice implementation project, any populations or any specific age groups or gender groups that would be particularly appropriate to address, or may have some individual specific needs that would need to be addressed. And also the final task is your NIH certification. National Institute of Health certification is required for anybody conducting any form of research. I have to be recertified every 4 years. Anybody that's conducting research has to be certified. Anytime that I submit a research proposal, or even just say that I'm going to participate in research, I've got to have a certificate saying that I have been updated. NIH certificate is to a nursing researcher kind of like a CPR card is to a nurse. It's one of those things that shows that we're certified, or like an ACLS certification is. We're certified with minimal competencies in understanding how to protect the rights of individuals, how to protect the rights of patients or subjects in a research study, and the ethics of that study. And so you'll be completing that certification and uploading that certification to the class this week. Some of you have done that already. It is not a graded assignment, so you do have to submit it in order to pass the class. However, there is no grade associated with it directly. So once it's uploaded and I check it off that you have it, it's in there. However, it does need to be uploaded by the end of the week in order for you to actually pass the class. And so the final grading for the class should be completed. Well, one of the things that is unique about week number 8 is to recognize that uh, the time frames are different. Your initial response to the discussion question is going to be due by by Tuesday at midnight, and then your follow-up response is no later than Thursday, and that's because on Friday I'm responsible for going through and finishing grading on Friday. It'll be early this week that I have the grading done for week number 7 for your discussion questions. And then that final grading for week number 8 will be completed no later than Friday, I'm guessing, possibly on Saturday. But the school really wants us to have those all finished and the final grades entered by the end of the week. So this is the last time that you'll be seeing me on video. I have posted an announcement. I would also please remind you and encourage you to please complete the end of course survey. Sometimes questions come up from students as, who reads those surveys and do they really do any good? I guarantee you they are read. They are given to me and the results are compiled and are included in every one of my evaluations. And my continued contracts as an instructor with the school are contingent upon those evaluations. So I encourage you to please, please submit the evaluation. It is helpful to me as well as helpful to the school as well to know what we're doing right. These videos that I've been doing each week has come in part because students were requesting a way of having a little bit more personal contact with instructors, and so that's just one example of ways that we try to meet the needs of students. And the evaluations are read in the meetings, they're read by the committees, they're read by the course champions for each course. So please let me assure you that there are changes made about every 3 months to the courses based on the feedback that is received from students. So I encourage you to please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, it has been my pleasure to serve as your instructor for this class. I wish you Godspeed as you move through. I hope that this class has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, or if you in the future, if you have any questions about research or about any of the topics that we've covered in class, feel free to contact me. My personal philosophy is that I'm your instructor now, and I will continue to be your mentor and your instructor as you need me to be. So if you need some help with resources in the future, maybe in the future that there will be a time when the things that discussed in class really weren't that important, but when you get your CNL, or when you actually are a leader in an organization where you have to really use some of these skills, feel free to contact me, and I can go ahead and give you as much help as I can and as much feedback. That is my pleasure to be able to do that for you. So have a great week. Again, it's been my pleasure. I hope that you have a great next class. Congratulations on successfully completing this class, and I look forward to seeing your discussion questions. Well done.